Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. The Flames take game one of the Battle of Alberta in a 9-6 win. Where, oh, where do we even start when it comes to this game recap? Find out on today's episode of Locked On Flames.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everyone? I'm your host, Jess Belmosto. Thank you so much for making Locked On Flames your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, and we are also free 99 on YouTube as well. I cannot even begin to explain how chaotic and perfect that game was. If you are tuning in right as this episode drops, number one, why are you awake? Number two, thanks for hanging out. I'm currently recording this at 1:24 in the morning, and I could not be happier to talk hockey. I am quite jazzed after that game. What on earth was that? A 9-6 win. If you listened or watched Tuesday's episode, you would know that Brett said he could not get the 9-6 or 9-5 game out of his head. And now I think I'm going to ask him for some lottery numbers or something too. Might as well, right? So the game starts with the Flames scoring 2 goals in 51 seconds, and that set a new record for the fastest 2 goals scored in playoff history. Fantastic, right? Just another thing for the Flames history books this season. Am I right? And then Brett Ritchie scored on them. That's how I knew that this game was going to be one chaotic mess. Simply because Brett Ritchie scored. Like, if you let Brett Ritchie score on you, you should have to, buy everyone in the arena dinner or something. Like, you should just forfeit the game, to be entirely honest. Mike Smith gets pulled, and then the crowd starts chanting, "We want Smith, we want Smith," and it was funny. And then I think another really funny part was Brady Tkachuk just vibing in the stands. He is truly an icon and has been just the best part of this postseason run. And, the inevitable McDavid goal happens. Like, everyone knew that it was eventually coming because it's the Oilers and it's Connor McDavid. So, they start to get their feet underneath them, and they start this whole little comeback thing. And then Zach Hyman scores. First of all, Zach Hyman, this is the same Zach Hyman that disappeared year after year after year after year in Toronto during the playoffs. So, he used to be my number one target when the Bruins would play the Leafs, because he would just go, he'd go ghost, he'd vanish. And it was like clockwork, except tonight, he goes out there and scores back-to-back goals. I don't know what it is. I don't. Something is in the Alberta water, I'm telling you. And then, it was great to see Blake Coleman score back-to-back goals as well. I was very pleased to see him score a goal. I tweeted, "We're one goal away from me eating a whole jar of pickles." If you don't know, Blake Coleman's nickname is Pickles. But I was very impressed with that. I think that secondary scoring truly shined through tonight, and that is exactly what the Flames needed. It was kind of gone last series, and they needed some sort of refresher, something to liven up the series, or liven up their offense rather, and they did that. And then Matthew Tkachuk happened. Okay, Matthew Tkachuk has a hat trick in this game, and people were very confused about why that second goal was allowed, because he wasn't, when the penalties were assessed, he wasn't going to be the first one out. Oliver Shillington should have been the first one out, right? But then there's a rule. There's a whole rule that I had no idea existed. I don't think a lot of people knew it existed, but Elliot Friedman ended up tweeting it, and so did a lot of other people, but this is just the one that I saw on my timeline. Flames can declare when penalties are assessed who will leave the box first, and they chose Tkachuk, which makes so much sense because no shade to Oliver Shillington by any means, but you want Matthew Tkachuk out on the ice first. You want him back out on the ice the fastest, right? Like over another player. There was just so much happening during this game that I was freaking out taking my notes. I was like, how am I going to do this game justice? How is that even possible? And, of course, the red lot was closed tonight because of all the high danger winds. And I hope everyone's safe. It looked like people were still out down on the Red Mile and everything. So I'm glad that you guys were still able to go out and watch this game at a bar or a restaurant, wherever you may be, because that was so exciting. My whole timeline was just everyone freaking out, and I was watching it, and my boyfriend had come out of the office at the start of the second period, I think, and yeah, it was when the Flames didn't score, and he was like, and the Flames couldn't buy a goal at that point, and I was like, Bradley, go back into the other room, go back. The Flames are playing better, and he didn't, but it was just so fun to watch, and the atmosphere in the Saddle Dome. I'm glad that the Oilers fans, though, didn't get entirely blown out because at least they paid good money for good entertainment. I think that that's always a good way to look at this, because there's nothing I hate more than going to a hockey game, paying, and watching my team get their butts kicked. It's like I just wasted 3 hours of my life and like $200. But coming up next, we're going to talk about the highs and lows of the game. But first, let me share a delicious snack with you. You guys know that I love talking about my Built Bars, and you know that I enjoy them as well. Well, let me talk to you about Brownie Batter Puffs. If you love brownies like me, you absolutely need to get your hands on brownie batter puffs. There's literally nothing I love more than making brownies and like scooping the batter out of the bowl at the end and just licking. Oh, so good. Well, Built Bar has this new creation for you that tastes exactly like that, and that deliciousness, this sweet chocolatey goodness, but it's good for you. It is a protein bar. It's a protein bar. Protein, marshmallow infused protein. How incredible is that? 140 calories with 17 grams of protein and only 7 grams of sugar. Brownie batter puffs are the perfect pick-me-up for any day. All Built puffs are covered in 100% chocolate, and that means that with Built, you can eat healthy and enjoy doing it. There's nothing I hate more than when people say, well, like, I'm eating healthy, so like I have to be really careful about my sweets. No, you don't. Get yourself some Built Bars, some Built Puffs. Head on over to Built.com today and use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off of your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your order at Built.com. Thank you all so much for following along. I've noticed we've grown a little bit here since the playoffs have started, and I'm so happy to have you here. We're a little small market family here, so it's nice to expand. And the family tree is growing. So you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto, or if you're more interested in following along with the show's Twitter feed, it's LO_Flames pod. Do we want to start with the good news or the bad news? I say we just get the negativity right out of the way. How does that sound? Okay, good. But Jacob Markstrom was rather shaky tonight. 6 goals on 28 shots. That's not good. That's not good. That was really bad. Really bad. And that's not like the Jacob Markstrom we saw against Dallas. So I don't know what happened there. Could it just be a little bit of regression? Maybe. Could he have just played a bad night? I don't know. Maybe. Could he be injured? Probably. Everyone's dinged up at this point in the season, but let's not speculate because the Oilers' goaltending didn't exist either. And I think that Markstrom is one of those players that has a bad game, and just like Daryl Sutter's mentality, he is quick on to the next. It happened. You have to leave it behind, and you move on. That's how you get better. You don't dwell on things. You can look back and say, okay, this is like when you're watching the film and say, okay, that's where I went wrong. This was a clear weak side. They can read me like a book here. I need to be better. Boom, and fix it. And I think that's one of the strong traits of Jacob Markstrom, and why I really like him as a goaltender, but also having him on the Flames. I think that it's a great benefit there. I saw a lot of people calling for Vladar to go in. Don't get me wrong. I love Darth Vladar. And I think that if it was a regular season game, of course, he probably would have been in there after the, fifth goal. But this is the playoffs. Dan Vladar made his playoff debut made his NHL debut in the bubble and allowed like 6 goals. When the Bruins had already allowed like 5. So it was not a good start. I don't think that Dan Vladar is a very seasoned goalie to be coming into the playoffs. I just think that he is a good backup to have. He is there, but I really don't think that Markstrom was ever going to be pulled. 1, I don't think Sutter would have done it. He doesn't really like pulling goalies. And 2, Markstrom wasn't going to have that happen. And, there have been times where Markstrom's gotten pulled this season and he didn't really bounce back quickly the next game. So maybe this was just a way for him to ride that momentum and then, come back on Friday and say, okay, I did this. I rounded out the game, didn't allow another goal. This is just to have that confidence, because sometimes you just need to stick it out. You really just have to suck it up and stick it out and get through it, because that's life, unfortunately. But on a much brighter note, I think we can all laugh at Evander Kane and laugh at how much of a personal hell this series is going to be for him. There are very good chirpers in this league, right? And a lot of them, sometimes they don't go too personal. They're not like below the belt hits or anything like that. But Matthew Tkachuk tonight asked Evander Kane if he needed some money and did the little hand gesture. If you're watching on YouTube, I just did it. And my jaw hit the floor. I was like, what is happening? I felt like I was like watching Mean Girls, and I was like, oh my God, like they just really said that. But it was great. I think that there are some people who need to be chirped for their personal life decisions, and Evander Kane is certainly one of them, as well as Tony DeAngelo, who was called a racist. Brad Marchand screamed down the ice, "You're a racist, you're a racist," down the ice to Tony DeAngelo. So, those are the 2 biggest scumbags in the league, and I think that's perfect opportunity too. You might as well say it. Everyone's thinking it, so just go ahead and say it. Am I right? Yes, I am. But then Shillington was laughing at Patrick Kane, Evander Kane as well in the penalty box. They're Kane and Tkachuk are trying to go back and forth, and Kane's trying to chirp at him, and Matthew's like, I feel bad for you. Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. And then, Shillington's just laughing, and no one takes Evander Kane seriously. Even Evander Kane doesn't take himself seriously, because when Luch was trying to throw down with him, he backed up. He just ripped Luch's helmet off, and Luch was ready to drop. He literally dropped the gloves, And then he's like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay. Pick on someone your own size, okay? We know that you get off on talking horribly to women and threatening them with deadly weapons. This is the NHL, honey. Look around. Everyone out there wants to fight you. Your own teammates probably want to fight you. But I am ready for this team to play all the mind games on Evander Kane. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. And that's how they're going to get, that man advantage, because Kane's going to get a little too rough. And they're going to say, to the box, and then the Flames have the man advantage and will take advantage of that. They actually scored a power play goal tonight, which I thought was kind of impressive. I'm not even gonna lie. I was considering how flat their power play fell last series. I was very shocked, and I didn't write who scored it, but I want to say it was Coleman. It was Matthew Tkachuk's first goal of the night. So, oh yeah, that's right. That's because that was the goal with the rule. Sorry, it's almost 2 a.m. My brain is fried, but I am so, I want to go watch that game again. I am enthralled with what went down. That made perfect reality TV. I want to see the post-game quotes. I want to see what game 2 brings. I want to see if someone asks Tkachuk, what were those words, you exchanged with Evander Kane out there? What did he have to say? I want to see all the soap operas. Who cares about the hockey? I want to see all the soap operas right now. But Battle of Alberta is off to a fantastic start, and if you love hockey, this is the series to be watching, and this is a great series to bring in some new fans. So if you're watching with a friend, or you have a friend who maybe thinks they like hockey, bring them to us. Let them watch the Battle of Alberta and let them fall in love with this sport that is ever so chaotic. But coming up next, I have your Flames of the game. And before we do that, though, I do just want to take a quick break to talk about BetOnline. As always, please bet responsibly when you are betting on sports. But our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your sports betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued number one source for all of your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline, where the game starts. I really didn't know where to start for this recap, because obviously normally I do quick game recap and takeaway, and then my segment of we talk stat of the game, and then we have our flame of the game, or something else that happened. And I was so nervous that this game was never it was just gonna be a bloodbath, that I would have to just talk about that for 30 minutes. But thankfully, I didn't have to harp on the negative tonight, because the Flames were able to pull out a 9-6 win, and I have your Flames of the game. Number 1 being Brady Tkachuk. He is living his best life following this little playoff family bandwagon around. I love it. He's there with his girlfriend, his sister, and Keith. And I think his mom's there. But oh my God, he had a beer in one hand and 2 Bud Lights in his back pockets. He is just hot. Brady summer is just fantastic. I think everyone's here for it, whether you're a fan of the Tkachuks, the Senators, or not. You have to love it. He has such a fun personality. He didn't take a child and put him on his shoulders tonight, but I don't think he could do that with all the beer in his hand anyways, but he is just having so much fun. And it's fun to watch because you don't normally see players show their personality like that. But I guess that's what happens when you come from such a fun, loving, hockey breeding, hockey breathing family. You know, you just eat, sleep, and hockey, right? And he's been the Flames' good luck charm. And Taryn, okay? Taryn Tkachuk is like a sophomore at UVA, or is she a freshman? I think she's just finished her freshman year. Regardless, she is having the time of her life. She's bopping along next to Keith, and she tried to get him to throw his hat during after Matthew's hat trick, and he was like, no, 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 and it was a nice looking hat. And it's not like that man is struggling with money to not go out and buy another one. But I guess when you're bald, you might want the hat. You might want it. But speaking of Tkachuks, Matthew Tkachuk with the hat trick tonight is my other Flame of the game. 19 minutes on ice. The only forward who had more minutes than him was Elias Lindholm, and he actually led the team with 8 shots on goal. I thought that he had a fantastic game tonight, considering how quiet of a series he had offensively against Dallas. I'll take it. I think that he played very well. I liked what we saw from him, and I'm hoping that we see more of that. And Blake Pickles Coleman with a 2-goal night and a strong performance all around. I have no issue with Blake Coleman. There was talk tonight on his contract and how it's like going to age poorly, and people are like, were skeptical of it when he signed it. And there were very few people that I saw skeptical of it. And like, yeah, I get it, but it's free agency. They're going to sign like those really weird long-term deals that don't make sense. But considering what Blake Coleman has brought to this team and the non-tangibles, I think that it is perfect. I think that he is a perfect fit for this team. He was brought to this team to help in moments like this, on the ice and off the ice. And you can't ask for much more. And I'm so happy that Blake Coleman is a Flame. I'm so happy. And you know, and the secondary scoring coming through with a 2-goal performance just from him alone. So it's some good stuff there. And coming up on Friday's show, we will have a preview of Game 2, any updates maybe on Chris Tanev, and we'll talk more about the post-game quotes and whatever storylines are out there tonight. Have a good night. It is currently 1:45 a.m, and I'm so happy. Like I just want to talk more hockey with you. So I will see you all on Friday. Don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, you can subscribe to us on YouTube and leave a nice little rating and review and comment wherever you are tuning in to this show. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.